It's Wednesday, January 6th, and welcome to the reading of the Mansfield News Journal. My name is Pam, and we begin our reading today with the area deaths. Cecil Ray Foltz, Sr., age 75, of Butler, went to be with the Lord on Thursday morning, December 31st, at his home. There will be no services at this time. Ruby Jones, 85, of Mansfield, passed away peacefully at her home on Sunday, December 27th. Burial will be at Ontario Cemetery, January 9th, with a brief graveside service at 11 a.m. Charles Richard Poland, 75, of Mansfield, passed away at Liberty Nursing Center on Thursday, December 24th. Family and friends may visit from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, January 9th, at the Diamond Street home of the Wapner Funeral Directors. A graveside service will follow immediately at Mansfield Cemetery, where Charles will be laid to rest. Denny C. Ramsey, known as Denny, age 69, died Saturday, January 2nd, at Ohio Health Hospital in Shelby. Private graveside services will be held in Most Pure Heart of Mary Catholic Cemetery. Clara June Royer, 84, of Mansfield, passed away Friday evening, January 1st, in the arbors at Mifflin after struggling several years with dementia. Private family funeral services will be Thursday, January 7th, in the Lexington Avenue Snyder Funeral Home. A service will be held at the convenience of the family. Arrangements made by the Oswald Hoskins Funeral Home, Lebanon. Nancy Ellen Siebert, also known as Longmire, 90, of Lebanon, passed away on Monday, December 28th, at Otterbein in Lebanon. A service will be held at the convenience of the family. Arrangements made by the Oswald Hoskins Funeral Home, Lebanon. LCG Yeagley, 78, of Mansfield, passed away at Crestwood Care Center on Saturday, January 2nd. Family and friends may visit from 12 to 1 p.m. on Wednesday, January 6th, at the Diamond Street home of the Wapner Funeral Directors, with funeral services immediately following at 1 p.m. This concludes the reading of the area deaths for today, and now we will begin with our first article. Motorist tries to run over an MPD officer, by Lou Whitmire. A Mansfield police detective was walking out of the Aldi store at around 1 p.m. Sunday when a woman driving a gray Hyundai attempted to hit him with her vehicle, according to Ontario police. He said he saw a gray car parked outside the store at 955 North Lexington Spring Mill Road, and it wasn't moving, so he proceeded to walk across the parking lot after looking both ways. He said he had to run to avoid getting hit. He was in plain clothes and had stopped after church to get a few groceries. According to the Ontario Police USA Facebook post, Mansfield Police Detective J. Mark Perry told an Ontario officer the woman then stopped to yell profanities at him, adding she knows he's a cop. Perry described her as a short, heavy-set woman wearing black yoga pants. She was with a man. Perry said he's trying to forgive the woman and will pray for her, but right now he's angry about the way law enforcement officers are being treated across the country. On Sunday, he posted on Facebook a warning to law enforcement officers to be careful. He said a woman who was with a man said inside the store as they walked by him, "Are you blankety blanking kidding me?" Perry, who has been a police officer for 14 years, said he even prays for people he is arresting. God is good, he said Monday. Anyone with information about the incident is asked to contact Ontario Police at 419-529-2115 or send the department a private message on the department's Facebook page. Well, a man allegedly vowed to kill a judge over witchcraft, by Mark Cotto. A 27-year-old city man has been charged with felony intimidation in connection with threats to kill a judge. Tyler Gilmore of 121 West 2nd Street had his bond set at $1 million cash on Friday for a Facebook threat involving Judge Phil Namath of Richland County Common Pleas Court. According to a sheriff's report, a portion of the Facebook message said, "If you don't have it removed, I'll personally kill you. I already threatened the CIA about it. So you better remove your witchcraft from my life. BC, if not, I'm personally coming to kill you, your dumbass. Namath told the News Journal by phone that he does not believe Kilgore has ever appeared in his court. I'm letting law enforcement deal with it and handle it in the way they see fit, the judge said. Namath told the sheriff's office that Kilgore had previously posted videos on Facebook about him and fellow judge Brent Robinson. According to the sheriff's report, a court official said Kilgore had made veiled threats to both judges. Don Brown, Namath's bailiff, asked the Metric Enforcement Unit to contact Kilgore and tell him to desist. As soon as a detective, Andrew Nee, told Kilgore why he had been arrested, the 27-year-old reportedly said Namath had used witchcraft on him. He further advised that the judge had tried to communicate with him through telepathy. Kilgore said he had a doctor at Catalyst Life Services, adding he has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. In addition, he reportedly said he was Lucifer, had talked to President Trump, and had been trained by the CIA. According to the sheriff's report, when shown the printed message that had been posted on Facebook, Kilgore admitted he had sent it. If Kilgore posts bond, he will have to be on electronic monitoring. He is scheduled for a preliminary hearing at 1 p.m. Thursday in Mansfield Municipal Court. Coroner's Office seeks next of kin for man. Special to Mansfield News Journal, USA Today Network in Mansfield. The Richland County Coroner's Office is asking the public for help in finding the next of kin for Patrick Shepard, 58, of Mansfield Memorial Homes, 55 Wood Street. Shepard died December 29th of natural causes, according to Tom Stortz, an investigator for the Coroner's Office. Stortz is seeking to contact next of kin so Shepard can have a proper burial. Anyone with information is asked to call the Richland County Coroner's Office at 419-774-5868. Bucyrus Mayor extends emergency declaration, closing city offices to the public, by Jerry Goebel. An emergency declaration closing city buildings to the public has been extended through January 31st. On Thursday, Bucyrus Mayor Jeff Resser updated the declaration issued November 20th. It was originally set to expire December 6th, but was extended then. The county remains in the higher range in the state as far as our cases, Resser said of his reason for issuing the extension. Also, city officials are waiting to see whether there will be an increase in the number of cases reported following Christmas gatherings. Over the last 4 to 6 weeks, it hasn't really improved, he said, adding a similar declaration from county officials. Closing the courthouse also is expected to be extended a month. We just want to be extra careful now that the vaccine is coming out, he said. Resser said if the number of cases should start to drop sooner than expected, we'll look at it again. If for some reason things get better real quickly, we'll open it back up. The declaration states city offices and departments will remain open, but will be available for phone and email inquiries only. Appointments will be scheduled for matters that require additional services. The police and fire departments remain open and fully staffed, but both stations are closed to the public. People who need to speak with a police officer can call the department's non-emergency number, 419-562-1006, to schedule an appointment. The fire department can be reached at 419-562-1351. Bucyrus City Council will continue to meet via video conference. Its next regular scheduled meeting will be at 7 p.m. Tuesday. To join the meeting from a computer, tablet, or smartphone, visit global.gotomeeting.com/join/752339-901, or by phone call 571-317-3122 and use access code 752339-901. 901. When I'm out and about, I talk to people who have had it, Rezer said. I just heard somebody's family member died from it. We've just got to be very, very careful right now. It's a very serious disease that needs to be taken very seriously. And now let's talk about the most wanted. A trio of newcomers sought in first listing of the new year by Mark Cottle. 3 newcomers kick off the first edition of the 2021 Most Wanted. James Bailey Jr., 27, is wanted on a charge of involuntary manslaughter. He has ties to Norwalk. Bailey is 5 foot 8 inches, weighs 131 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. William Smith, 37, is being sought on a parole violation. His original charge was burglary. Smith has ties to Bucyrus and Gallion. Smith is 6 foot 2 and 225 pounds. He has brown hair and blue eyes. Robert McDowell, 54, is wanted on a charge of obstructing justice. He has ties to Mansfield. McDowell is 5'11 and 175 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. The lone holdover is Sean Thomas, 44. He is being sought on a charge of involuntary manslaughter. He has ties to Norwalk. Thomas is 6 foot 3, 220 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of any of the fugitives is asked to call the Richland County Division of the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force at 419-744-3565 or 866-4-WANTED. People can also text the keyword WANTED and send a tip to 847-411 or go to a link at usmarshals.gov/district/OH-N/fugitives. Reward money is available, but tipsters also can remain anonymous. Well, up next, Mansfield Man Loves Birds. Keep counting. He has participated in annual events for 66 years by Art Holden. December 26th officially marked 66 years since the first time Roger Troutman participated in the National Audubon Society's Christmas bird count. His role in the largest data collection process of any animal on the planet have changed, but his belief in the value of the event is as strong as ever. It's important animal-wise because you can see what birds are going up and down in population, said Troutman, who lives outside of Mansfield. Looking at the data, you look at it in the long term so you can see the trends. Troutman, now in his 80s, coordinates 2 Christmas bird counts, assigning sections to groups and then compiling their findings and submitting them to the National Audubon Society for both Worcester and the Mohican Forest areas. The Worcester Christmas bird count this winter was held the day after Christmas, and the Mohican CBC was January 2nd. In the Western Hemisphere, the Christmas bird count can be done on any day between December 14th and January 5th. Cold count, unusual birds. In the early days, the CBC was held specifically on Christmas Day. Then, in the 1950s, it expanded to a count period before and after December 25th. Birders have one day designated to spot, document, and count as many birds as they can in their assigned area, with each area made up of sections in a 15-mile diameter circle. No areas or sections are to overlap, and field leaders and their groups are encouraged to spend as much time as it takes to adequately cover their territory without duplicating coverage. It's fun most years, said Troutman. You get to fraternize with fellow birders, but this year with COVID-19, we didn't get together for our morning meeting. And for the Worcester count, those in the field had to deal with cold conditions and plenty of snow. One of the rare finds in the National Audubon Society's Worcester Christmas bird count on December 26th was this dark-eyed Oregon junco spotted at Kisa Weeman's feeder. It was mostly roadside birding, said Troutman. We had a lot of snow, a lot more snow than usual, and the marshes and ponds were frozen. The wind speeds varied from calm to probably low 20s. The calmer the winds, the better for birds observing, except for afternoon flying raptors. Still, the Worcester group, not all the results were available as of last week, did amazingly well, with Troutman expecting the final total of different species counted to be in the 70s or 80s. The long-term Worcester average is 63. And believe it or not, the most unusual bird counted in the Worcester CBC this year was a rufous hummingbird, despite temperatures in the teens. That bird has been around over a month at a private home where they have been feeding it, said Troutman, noting the rufous generally is a hardy West Coast inhabitant living as far north as Alaska. Over the last 20 years, for some reason, they've been moving east on their migration south. They started showing up in Ohio in October and stay at a feeder until they move on. It was the second time a rufous was included in the Worcester CBC, and this particular one was even banded. The rufous hummingbird first showed up in an Ohio CBC in 1996 in the Mohican Forest. Another good spot in the Worcester CBC was a dark-eyed Oregon junco, which Troutman says is not as rare as the rufous, but will still make most birders' day. The 2020 Oregon junco is the 6th recording in the history of the Worcester CBC. Troutman notes a flyover common redpoll spotted at the Seacrest Arboretum at the Ohio Agricultural Research and Development Center was the third most unusual bird counted in the Worcester CBC. While they number in the millions, they seldom migrate this far south. Bird hunt becomes bird count. 2020 marked the 121st consecutive year the Christmas bird count has been conducted by the National Audubon Society. At the turn of the last century, it was common for men to hunt on Christmas Day, and the person who came home with the most birds was declared the winner. Someone from Audubon decided that instead of hunting the birds, they should count them, and in 1900, the first Christmas bird count was done, with 27 participants taking 25 counts, totaling 8,500 birds and 89 species. The first Ohio CBC was held in Cadiz the next year and has been held continuously ever since. The first Worcester CBC was in 1926, but was only conducted sporadically until 1950 when it took off officially. Troutman did his first CBC in 1954-55 at the invitation of members of the now defunct Worcester Nature Club. 2 years later, he and his friend Joseph Beatty did a then CBC record 12 counts, covering 2,000 miles and 3 states, doing 4 counts in Ohio, 2 in Pennsylvania, and 6 in Maryland. In 1968, while working at the Kingwood Center in Mansfield as its naturalist, Troutman resurrected the Mansfield CBC and at the same time was asked by the National Audubon Society to be the compiler for both Worcester and the Mohican Forest CBCs, a function that he still does today. In 1972, he became the regional CBC director for Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia, and held that position for 11 years. Worcester's best CBC was in 2011 when birders counted 101 different species, which at the time Troutman thought was the most ever recorded in Ohio. However, that same year, the Toledo CBC recorded 108 species. Troutman also noted that there have only been 12 species of feeder birds that have shown up in all 70 Worcester CBCs, and at the other end of the spectrum, 14 bird species that have shown up just once in the Worcester CBC. One of the longest term trends that Troutman has noticed since looking over all of Ohio's CBC numbers is the nearly total decline in the quail numbers after the winter storms of 1976, 77, and 78, which also wiped out most of the Carolina wren population in Ohio. The wren, though, has made a comeback, while the quail has not. Troutman also noted that CBC numbers show that bird populations on the rise in Ohio include vultures, tundra and trumpeter swans, and Canadian geese. Locally, the Christmas bird count also is conducted in Millersburg and Ashland. For your information, Brandon Bittinger appointed as new Loudonville council member by Jim Brewer. Brandon Bittinger was appointed and sworn in Monday as the newest member of Loudonville Village Council. Bittinger succeeds veteran council member Bill Welsh, who resigned December 21st for health reasons. The discussion was when Mayor Steve Strickland asked if any council members had thoughts on a replacement for Welsh at the beginning of the meeting. Councilman Matt Young immediately nominated Bittinger, and council unanimously approved his appointment. He is one of the hardest working people I know, and he has attended every council meeting since before I was elected, Young said. I am confident you will be a good fit for this council and will work well with all involved, Mayor Steve Strickland added. Bittinger ran for council in the 2019 election, placing a close third behind Welsh and Matt Young in a four-person race for 2 seats, and had since been appointed as a member of the Village Planning Commission. Additionally, as Young mentioned, he has attended virtually every council meeting over the past 2 years. Bittinger is a scheduler with the Gorman-Rupp Company in Mansfield. Council also elected a new president pro tem, a post held for nearly a decade by Welsh. It elected Councilman Jason Van Sickle by a 4-2 vote. Voting for Van Sickle were himself, Kathy Lance, Matt Young, and Bittinger. Tom Young got 2 votes for the post, his and Tom Gallagher's. With Welsh's resignation, Council also lost its representative on the Village Planning Commission. Since Bittinger is already on the commission, Strickland asked for Council's approval to make him the council representative, which it did. Then he asked council members to think about another resident to serve on the Planning Commission. In other actions, Strickland gave his annual State of the Village address. He praised the council and village department heads and employees for dealing with the most challenging 12 months we've faced in our lifetimes. He praised the village safety forces for successfully adopting new protocols and safeguards in dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. He said the village was fortunate to come out of 2020 without any serious budget shortfalls, crediting the village fiscal officer and department heads with great financial management. He said he was positive that in 2021, I fully expect our staff to continue to operate and deliver vital services to our residents. He praised Ohio Theater director Sally Hollenbach for doing a tremendous job of scheduling events in the theater after the pandemic caused a 14-week shutdown. We were able to use COVID-related funds to ease the strain on the village budget caused by theater operational costs, and we appreciate the Loudonville Theater and Arts Committee and other organizations for continuing to provide support for the theater, Strickland said. A highlight in the village in 2020 was completion of the Treehouse Playground apparatus in Riverside Park, made possible by the group Growing Mohican Families, which raised $150,000 for the project. He offered a special praise for the Growing Families leader, Christy Spreng, and Angie Heffelfinger for leading the effort. Achievements in safety forces, including establishment of a canine unit in the police department that is state certified in narcotic detection and apprehension work, mandatory removal and replacement of all 1987 fire hoses with a state grant covering 2/3 of the $15,000 cost, replacement of the breathing air compressor and fill station with a new unit, funded in part by a $25,000 grant from the Hugo and Mabel Young Foundation, and passing by all fire units of state equipment inspection and testing. Because of the pandemic, Strickland said major paving projects were delayed. Scheduled for 2021 is the North Market Street Improvement Project, running from Main Street North to Burwell Avenue. The project will include replacement of water mains, service lines, and fire hydrants between Loudon and Burwell Avenues. 60% of the $535,000 project will be funded by a $303,000 Ohio Public Works Commission's grant. Also scheduled in the spring are the $133,826 village funds for resurfacing of North Jefferson Street from Wooster Road to East Campbell Street and Campbell Street from Ohio 60 East to Snyder Drive. The mayor said he expects the Wally Road Maintenance Building to be totally paid off by the end of 2021 or the early part of 2022, thanks to an ongoing support from Loudon Post 257 of the American Legion. When this happens, I hope to get started on a new police department and village office building, both long overdue, the mayor said. Concluding, he said, while I don't expect a return soon to what we consider normal, I believe we can work together in the coming year to help provide service and support to our businesses and residents and look for positive developments during what can certainly be our best days ahead. Strickland appointed council committees at the meeting. They are Finance, Kathy Lance, Chair, Tom Gallagher, and Tom Young. Safety Committee, Bittinger, Chair, Van Sickle, and Tom Young. Streets, Matt Young, Chair, Van Sickle, and Bittinger. Planning and Zoning, Gallagher, Chair, Matt Young, and Lance. Parks and Building, Tom Young, Chair, Lance, and Matt Young. And Utilities, Van Sickle, Chair, Bittinger, and Gallagher. Council approved its 2021 salary ordinance. Most positions received a 30 cents per hour raise, while police officers received $1.50 an hour raise. The captain and the chief $1.75, and specialized maintenance positions between 50 to 80 cents. It also renewed its contract with the law firm Kick and Gilman, Loudonville. Strickland told attorney Tom Gilman, I really appreciate the tremendous job you do for us. And it renewed its agreement with Gov.Deals to sell no longer used village equipment via internet auction. Council talked for about 10 minutes on the ongoing issue of cleaning up junk properties. Is there a way we can expedite this? Councilman Tom Young asked. Gilman answered that it has to be done through a process which eventually works but may take some time. For instance, he said, cleanup of one property is delayed because of liens on the property, and another, Strickland noted, because it's a case where one man's junk is literally another man's treasure. Strickland encouraged residents to support Dr. Marlene Carson in her efforts to make the old Jacqueline Manor building into a rehabilitation facility for human sex trafficking victims by purchasing a green light at Coppertop Gallery, a fundraiser for her project. Matt Young expressed thanks to Fiscal Officer Elaine Van Horn for getting the price lowered on trash receptacles the village is purchasing from $6.50 per unit to $3.50. He also urged the village to support an effort to improve lighting in the Central Park area. The next meeting will be at 6 p.m. Monday, January 18th in Ohio Theater. The meeting will be live streamed with connections available through the village website. And now, local news briefs. Kingwood's Storybook Trail features a new book. The Storybook Trail at Kingwood Center Gardens is featuring a new book for the winter season. Winter Sleep, a Hibernation Story, is by author Sean Taylor and Alex Morse and illustrated by Sin-Yi Chu. The award-winning story follows a child and his grandma through a winter landscape, exploring how the earth goes to sleep for winter. You will spot the sleeping animals as the tale unfolds, then learn about their hibernation habits. The Storybook Trail is open during Kingwood's winter hours, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and is located along the nature trail that begins at the Peacock Playhouse. Admission is free on the first Monday of every month. A new scavenger hunt for the kids debuts on Monday. Winter sleep will be on sale in the Kingwood Garden and Gift Shop inside the new Garden Gateway Visitor Center. The Garden and Gift Shop and the Gateway Cafe will be open daily 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Columbia Gas offers natural gas safety reminders. With winter upon us and colder temperatures setting in, now is the time of year when people are most reliant on natural gas to keep homes comfortable. Natural gas is safe and reliable, but for a variety of reasons, leaks can sometimes occur. Natural gas is also colorless and odorless in its purest form, but Columbia Gas adds an odorant, mercaptan, to give it that distinctive sulfur-like rotten egg smell. If you smell this odor, stop what you are doing. Don't open the windows. Don't use anything that could cause a spark, such as a phone, light switch, appliance, or flashlight. Don't start your car or use your garage door. Leave the area immediately, and from a safe place, call 911 and Columbia Gas of Ohio at 1-800-344-4077. Even if you aren't certain there's a leak, Columbia Gas always prefers customers err on the side of caution and call. Potential leaks should never be ignored, and there is never a charge for crews to respond. Other signs of natural gas leaks may include blowing dirt, bubbling water, dead vegetation, or a hissing, roaring sound. Tips for preventing natural gas leaks in and around the home include ensuring natural gas appliances are up to date and inspected regularly. Avoid using a gas stove or range top as a space heater, and always call 811 before digging. Upcoming meetings: the Shelby Safety Committee will meet at 3:30 p.m. Wednesday in a conference room at 5 Water Street, Shelby. Plymouth Shiloh Local Board of Education, 6 p.m. Monday, Administrative Office Building, 365 Sandusky Street in Plymouth. The Mid-Ohio Educational Service Center Board of Governors will meet at noon, January 13th, Mid-Ohio ESC Boardroom, 890 West 4th Street, Mansfield. Pioneer Career and Technology Center Board of Education, 7 p.m., January 13th. The meeting can be accessed via Pioneer's website at pct.k12.oh.us. That concludes the reading of the Mansfield News Journal for Wednesday, January 6th. My name is Pam. Thank you for having me in your home today. Please stay safe, be blessed, make it a great day.